Hi to my engineering management students. Welcome to Learn with Red. In today's video, you're going to learn how to make your first PDM diagram. So you're given a activities precedence table, which looks like this. It has the activities A, B, C, D, E, F, and the predecessor. And there's a duration in number of days or weeks. For example, activity A takes 5 days to finish. Activity B takes 8 days to finish and starts after A, and so forth. Perhaps you can ask me, I can do that with pen and paper or manually using Excel, but for example, you have 100 different activities interrelated to each other. So, changing a duration or the sequence of activities would necessitate you to revise a folder of 100 PDM network diagrams that you drew in pen and paper. So, learning to create a PDM diagram in Excel is a skill and competency which will help you in your professional civil engineering practice. Let's go! From the activities precedence table or APT, we can make a schematic diagram of the process flow of the activities from start to finish. For example, this is activities A. Activities B starts after A is finished, and so is activity C after A is finished. And then activities D can start after B is finished, and activity E starts when C is finished. And activity F starts when both activities D and E are finished. In this first lesson on how to make your first PDM network diagram, we will not consider the duration. It will be for the next video. The PDM network has nodes and arrows. So the nodes are the activities and the arrow is the process flow from to. In making the PDM network diagram, the nodes A or B is composed of 6 squares like this. In the upper middle of the node, this is the activity. So below the activity is the duration in days in our case. So here in this node for activity A, so this is the activity name A, followed by and below it is the duration, and in this case it's 5. Now let me guide you to make your first PDM network diagram. Let's go. We start by opening a new Excel file, and let's configure the cells to be squares. So like for example, so you can do it this way, as many as you can. Okay, and then you click Home, Format, Column Width 3. For your exercise, you have to place your name and your project. So the name, you can click Merge, and here Merge. You can use the Excel in your cell phone to make your PDM diagram. Okay, so from our reference, you have your activities and the predecessor of those activities and the duration. So let's just copy it here. And let's make the schematic diagram. We can use circles to become our nodes. We can just fill it with color. In this node, we can edit text, and then we can place the activity numbers A and make it center. A has no predecessor, so the next activity B starts after A. So let's just copy this upstairs. B, paste, and we can place this arrow. Okay, I'll go closer. There are nodes in that circle, so you connect the circle through its in that way. When you move the nodes, the arrows are already connected. Okay, we can make the nodes thicker, and then activity C proceeds after A. So we'll just copy this and then make it C. Oops, C, and then copy our arrow. So we insert that in that node and in that node. So if you notice, there's a convention. We always place it the beginning and the end. So it's not tied. We'll just move it there. Okay. And then activity D starts after B. Okay. So this is D. And activity E starts after E. That's E. And then let's connect it with arrows. From here to there. Let's make it thicker. And let's just copy it here. And lastly, after D and E, activity F can start. Paste. And that's activity F. We can insert our arrow. We can insert it in the proper socket of that and these two. Okay. The schematic diagram helps us to draw our PDM network diagram now that we know the process flow from what activity to the next activity. So let's make this smaller. So as we said earlier, we need 6 squares. Okay, and it's circled by a thick one, and let's fill this up with light green. We can also move that lower. Okay, so let's make it smaller still. Okay, so the first activity is activity A, and the duration is this one, 5. But as we move the squares to a different area, so the formula will also move. So as to lock in the value or the formula on that reference, we make it as an absolute reference by clicking F4, also on your cell phone, there. So for example, if I copy this here, there for activity B, so okay, that still carries that formula, so we can change that the duration of activity B to 8. Okay, and then let's copy that here. You see, when I copied the B to here, so the formula also moved, and this is 0, so we can prevent that by making an absolute reference of the value it represents. So the duration of C is that one, and then press F4. Okay, then we have activity D here, and the duration of activity D is 10, of course. Okay, let's just make this already absolute value reference. Then let's make the activity E with the duration of that one. And lastly, activity F. Okay, this is E after C, and then this is F, and the duration is 3. Okay, then let's just copy the arrows. Okay. And these other arrows, copy, paste. Okay. Okay, let's just copy this. There! You have finished making your first PDM network diagram. So for example, you change the duration. For example, this 9 becomes 19 days. There. So your corresponding nodes will also have changes, which is now automated. Okay, so let's revert back to the original. So you're now ready to complete your first PDM network diagram on your next video. Learn with Red.